Just like we need tools to create our designs like Figma, we also need special tools for web development in order to write our code. And the workhorse tool that we're going to take a look at first is called an integrated development environment, or IDE. And that's really just a fancy label for a place where we can actually sit down and write our code. So if we come and take a look here, the kind of most popular IDE right now is something called VS Code, created by Microsoft. And as you can see here, it's a pretty simple experience right now, but you can load it with all sorts of extensions, kind of like plugins in Figma, to get a whole bunch of additional functionality. So my setup, pretty simple because we're not doing a lot of crazy stuff here. But basically, the main features of an IDE is it can show you the file structure over on the left-hand side, and then you can open files and see them in tabs up top. And then you can write the code inside of here. So we've got our HTML. We can also take a look at our styles.css here and main.js. So we've seen this a few times already, but what it is called VS Code, and it's our IDE, which allows us to actually go ahead and write the code. The other big tool that we're going to take a look at here is something called iTerm, but basically it is the terminal which allows us to access our computers directly and interact with them. So we can do lots of different things here. One of the most fun things we can do is we're in the quick menu directory right now, so we can do ls-la, and now we get a listing of all the files that are in this folder here. And you might be saying, well, why would I need to see this here? Can't I just use the VS Code and see everything over there? And the answer is you can, but in some cases you can't. So for instance, when you're working with a server, you often don't have access to an interface to see the files there. And you need to use something like a command line to access and see and interact with the files that are over there. It also allows us to run different commands and access different technologies and programs. And so it's a powerful tool that allows us to do some more advanced things with code. So for example, we can make another file. We could say touch another file, and why don't we just call this HTML? And we can do that. So now if we come back over to VS Code, we can see this file got created. So we can run commands from the command line or the terminal and actually do stuff that impacts our computer. And it's a very, very powerful tool for interacting directly with the machines that we're working with. Now, those are the two sort of workhorse tools. They're going to be used day in, day out by developers. There are some other tools that you might see pretty frequently. Sometimes you'll see a Git GUI. So Git is the technology we use for saving our work and working with other developers. And so you might see people use a piece of software to interact with that. Another one you'll frequently see is sort of an API tool, something like Postman or Insomnia. Those tools allow you to interact directly with APIs and make requests. And then another pretty common tool is a database GUI, which allows you to interact with data and actually make requests or queries and see what's in the database table as well. And that's really important for back-end development as well. So those tools, a little bit more specialized, but you'll frequently see them. And then you've got the really niche, really specialty tools as well that really depend on the language that somebody is working with, as well as the problems that they're trying to solve. And you might come across those in your experience working with developers. So I'd actually love to hear about what other tools you might have come across or might have questions about. So please feel free to drop them in the comments below.